Minister Dove, and this is Freedom's Wings Ministries. I'm the founder of Freedom's Wings Ministries, and today we have Chapter 7 Genesis, where we're going to see how God instructs Noah on how to live in the ark and how to be within the ark. And it's funny that the Lord says, I'm frustrated with my people that I created. I'm not happy with how they're taking care of this world, so I'm going to wipe them out, but I have found favor in you, Noah. See, the Lord's not determined to totally wipe out his population. He saves it through Noah to regenerate the earth after the flood. So let's see, chapter 7. Then the Lord said to Noah, go on to the ark, and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You are righteous before me in this generation. So God sees good within Noah. And he says, hey, Noah, you're going to save the population. Now, could you imagine me and Noah and say, what, God? I'm going to do what? I'm going to save the population? Yeah. Okay, God, I got to build this giant boat? Yeah, okay. But he does it faithfully. He does it with pure love for God and for what God is saying and for life itself. Because if it's true and God's going to wipe everything out and he's talking to God, well, then he's going to die too if he doesn't do what God says. So anyway, take with you 7 pairs of all clean animals, the male and his mate, and a pair of the animals that are not, and a pair of the animals that are not clean, and male and his mate, and 7 pairs of the birds of the heavens, also male and female, to keep their offspring alive on the face of all the earth, to keep the offspring alive on the face of all the earth. So, God's like, there's still good. I have hope for my people. He says upon society within himself, there's still hope for my people. There's still a good chance that they will follow me and take care of my planet and my earth, because Noah is good at heart. Because Noah is good at heart. Now ask yourself something. Are you good at heart? Are you good at heart? How do you see yourself within God's community of life? How do you see yourself within God's community of life? Are you good at heart like Noah? See, God found favor in Noah because Noah was good at heart. And Noah took pleasure in the things that he had around him and his life. Noah took pleasure and worshipped. He took pleasure and worshipped God for the things that he had in his life. Do you take pleasure and worship God for the things that you have in your life? If you lived back then, would God say to you what he says to Noah? I have taken faith on you that you are kind of heart and wisdom comes from you and you are wise within the days that I have made you. See that? Are you wise within the days God has made you? For in 7 days I will send, number 4, for in 7 days I will send rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the ground. And Noah did all that the Lord had commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters came upon the earth. So he's 600 years old. So this is 600 years of a relationship with God. And God says, Noah, thank you. Thank you, Noah, because you have loved me and you've taken care of everything and you've lived these 600 years. I'm bestowing my faith into you, Noah. See, the Lord can bestow faith into us too, that we are taking care of and following him faithfully. And the Lord can bestow faith on us too. As much as we bestow faith on the Lord can bestow faith on us too. Do you have a relationship? Do you have a relationship? Do you bestow the faith back into the Lord that the Lord bestows onto us? And okay, number 6. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of the waters came upon the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him went into the ark to escape the waters of the flood. So not only is it just Noah, it's Noah's family. And the whole relationship and how they raised up faith within love of God. Noah raised up faith within love of God as he took care of God's universe with his family. He lived a Christian life, and God said, Noah, thank you. I'm going to bestow my faith back into you, that you will help regenerate the earth after I wipe everything out. This is kind of, God says, I'm going to bestow my faith on you, that you will help regenerate the earth after I wipe everything out. Pretty big mission God has bestowed on Noah. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him went into the ark to escape the waters of the flood, of clean animals and of animals that are not clean, and of birds and of everything that creeps on the ground, and everything that creeps on the ground. 2 and 2, male and female, went into the ark with Noah, as God had commanded Noah. And after 7 days the waters of the flood came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the winds of the heavens were opened. And rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day Noah and his sons Shem and Ham and Japheth, and Noah's wife and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark. They entered the ark with good faith. So they know that God is going to wipe everything out. But God has bestowed faith on them. Like I said a little bit earlier, God has bestowed faith on them to reestablish things. So can you imagine how frightened they are? We're gonna live in this big boat, and God's gonna wipe everything out except us. We're gonna repopulate. It took a lot of faith on their part to do what God is saying as far as stay in the ark, but they did it, and they repopulated the earth because we're all here. We're still alive. God said, I'm mad at my people, but I seek faith in you, Noah, that you can regenerate my earth. That's the message for today. I know I keep reiterating that, but what's your faith within God? What's your favor within God's community? How do you portray yourself as a Christian? Think about that. How do I portray myself as a Christian? Do I have the faith? Would God say, I seek pleasure in you as a human that I've created? So ask yourself, what can God say about me? What can God say about me? What is my relationship within Christ? On the number 13, on the very same day Noah and his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark. They and every beast according to its kind, and all the livestock according to their kind, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, every winged creature. They went into the ark with Noah, 2 and 2, all flesh, in which there was the breath of life. And those who entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. The flood continued 40 days on the earth. The waters increased and bore up the ark on it rose high above the earth. And it rose high above the earth, sorry. The waters prevailed and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed so mightily on the earth that all the high mountains under the whole heavens were covered. The waters prevailed above the mountains, covering them 15 cubits deep, and all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds, livestock, beasts, all swimming creatures that swarm on the earth, and all mankind. Everything on the dry land, in whose nostrils was the breath of life, died. He blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground, man and animals, and creeping things and birds of the heavens. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those who were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. 150 days, nothing but pure flood. Nothing but pure flood. Because God wiped out everything except what was in Noah's ark. But God's plan was to rejuvenate the earth with the goodness of the animals and the creatures and of Noah that went into the ark with Noah. So he says, I'm mad about everything. But, one thing that I thought about reading this was the oceans and how high the water is and the rocky coral reefs and everything that is underneath the ocean. Was it established the oceans with this flood? No, now God has created the earth and he's created man and everything, but it doesn't really say too much about the oceans. Was the oceans created by the flood? I wonder about that. Let's think. Were the oceans created by the flood? What do you take from this story as Noah regenerates the population? But what do you take in your heart as a Christian? Would you be like Noah? Would God say, I have faith on you to take care of my earth? Are you taking care of the earth? Are you being a good Christian? What lies within your own spirit as a relationship with God? Think about that. What lies within your own spirit as a relationship with God? God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. You're either living for it or you're not living for it. You either have a relationship or you don't have a relationship. You can have a baby relationship, baby steps into learning to be with God, which we're kind of doing here by going through the Bible step by step. This is Genesis chapter 7 tonight and the flood. But how do you see yourself with God? How do you see yourself with God? Some stuff to think about. As we read, God took favor in Noah. Does God take favor in you? Think about that. Does God take favor in me? Ask yourself that. Does God take favor in me? And do I take favor in him? Do I take favor in him? How is my relationship within the community of Christ? Ask yourself that. How is my relationship within the community of Christ? Am I like Noah? Or does God see favor in me? Think about that. Am I like Noah? Does God see favor in me? Does he take pride in me as one of his children? And would he say, I have faith in you as one of my children? Does he say, I have faith in you as one of my children? Let's rephrase it. Does he say, I have faith in you as one of my children? Many blessings, my friends. Many blessings.